Hello, I think we are just about live. Today we are working on the principle of rods and measures, but we're starting with an activity for upper secondary or high school, those who are 16 to 18. Now that activity is based on a measuring activity, but it's all about the principles of numbers and how the numbers help you. So it's measuring, but it's still about numbers and the concepts. Before I go ahead, and I'm just going to share in a couple of places very quickly to increase the chance of other people benefiting from this. So while we're waiting, I'm going to start with 16 to 18 and give you an activity that you can really get your teeth into, and then we're going to move to an activity for middle, upper primary, lower secondary, and then we're going to move to an activity, and then at 10 o'clock we'll have another separate live for early years, for the younger learners. So I'm just going to put in a couple of, I think I've actually worked out how I can put in a couple of what's the word I'm looking for? Links right here on the live. I think I've done it. So if you just look at the top of the live, you can find the links and go to the places where you can get the resources that you'll need to follow up with this activity. This live is basically letting you know that there's a great activity for you to do, and I'm just sharing in a couple of different places to fingers crossed. I'm slowly but surely, I think it's been about 4 weeks now I've been doing this, and I'm still struggling. Definitely need a producer. Sometimes I get the privilege of having a producer, and many times I don't. So there we go. I've now shared it on the, so if you will have started seeing this on the, oh my goodness, there I am. Gotta love it. And so I'm going to keep that one on there, and I'll watch the group on here, the live video on the group on here, so that I can comment. So I can make comments. What's on my mind? What's on my mind is I want to find my group so that I can comment. That's what's on my mind. Thank you very much. Making maths fun for kids of all ages. If you're on the group and you like what you see, please share with others. That would be hugely beneficial. And I've got to find a place to put this so it doesn't fall over, as has happened in the past. And right. Oh, I think, here we go. Okay, I'm live there, I can see that. I'm live there, I can see that. So we're going to start with the activity for, I'm going to put this down here so you can see it, and then I've got to make sure I can see the screen that you're looking at. Now this looks to me to be out of focus, and I don't know what to do about that. Really don't know what to do about that. Oh, can this be focused? Ah, yes. Modern technology. I must have moved it without realizing that it actually had a focus on it. Fantastic. So this is the activity we're going to go back to in a few minutes for early years learners. But right now we're going to years, get it right, 11, 12, and 13. Now it's about weights, and the reason why it's connected to the rods and the numbers is the activity that the link is above. I've managed to work out how to get it there. The link is above, and it's also in the announcements for the group. So the idea is, and the question's on there, the challenge for you if you are in upper secondary and high school, age 16 to 18-ish. So you've got, you can, the challenge is you can weigh all integer masses from 1 to 60. You've got 6 weights, and you can put the weight in one pan. So it's using the old-fashioned scales like that. You can put 6 weights in one pan and the object in the other pan, and that object can weigh anything from 1 to 60. So which weights do you need to use? Oh yeah, which weights do you need to use in order to be able to weigh all integer masses from 1 to 60? So integer masses being, let's say if it was 1 kilo to 60 kilos, then you'd have weights, you'd have 6 weights anywhere from 1 kilo to 60 kilos. Which weights do you need to be able to weigh anything? Now we use the integer masses, so we're not specifying kilos or grams or milligrams. Integer masses is simply, basically they're whole units. They're integers as opposed to, we're not weighing fractions. There's no fractions involved. And now, if 1 to 60 is your first challenge, what 6 weights do you need to be able to weigh all masses between 1 to 60, no fractions involved? And what about then the next challenge is from 1 to 1,000. And then this is your stretch. 1 to 1,000 is a mini stretch, and then you've got a proper stretch. This is generalization. What about from 1 to n? 1 to any number. So you're going to come up with an expression, a written expression on a piece of paper and work it out. And if you want to go back and have a think about it from further back, then stay with the live and have a look, see what we do as we go further back in years. So for this live, I've started with that one. Oh yes, and then so this is where computers can come in to help, and there's further challenges on there. And just to let you know, the challenge after that is, what if you put weights in both pans? And it gives a clue here. There are some clues. If you download the resource, it's on page 4 of the resource. There's its own resource is Balance Power, which I put at the top, but on the resource for Rod's measures, it's on page 4. So we've got the home learning resource on Rod measures. There you go, home learning resource on Rod measures, and on page 4 of that is the challenge that I have just set you from years, let's get it in focus, from years 11 to 13. The link is above, so I would recommend that you go to both and download the home learning resource for Rod measures, and then the link on page 4, which is also at the top, on Balance Power, and have a go at that. Enjoy. Now I'm going to actually create some rods, and then we're going to look at what we're going to do for years 9 and 10. Well, actually years 9 and 10, well, we're going to create the rods now, and then we're going to look at all the activities. Okay, so we did that in the preparation last night. I made this one. Now this is a nice challenging one to make, how to actually measure this out without given a given length. You can make it a particular length, and that might make it easier, but I had whatever length. I was using this box, so we need fairly rigid, I'm calling them rods. They're bits of card, but they're rigid. You can do this if you need to with pieces of paper, but rods are a whole lot more useful. Now what we need is 10 rods that are 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, basically units on each rod. So 1 of 10, 1 of 9. I have a question for you, just a little challenge question. What's the minimum amount of rods? What's the minimum amount of strips of card that are length 10 that we need to make, to prepare, in order to have all 10 numbers 1 to 10? What's the minimum amount of strips that are 10 units long? So you think about that. And in the meantime, we'll just get going with this, because the next one won't be quite as tidy, but we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That might give you a clue. Now, if you are using scissors, of course, depending how old you are, please do make sure you know if you need adult supervision, please, and you can use the special. Now I've got 1 of 9. I'm going to put that one to one side. So there's your question. How many do you need to be able to have sorry, my brain just stopped working for 1 second. It'll kick back in any second now because I'm thinking, doing my best to think ahead to the next question. And then my brain just decided to stop completely. So what I'm going to get is I'm now going to get, let me, I don't want to give you the clue. This is the thing. I don't want to give you the clue to the answer to the question I've just given you. So I'm actually going to, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to create one of, I've got a 9, I need a 10, a 4, and a 3. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3. I've got the answer to my, I know what we're doing now. I'm not going to show you the way I would do it if I was making the absolute using the minimum amount of strips of card to make my rods. I'm simply going to cut out a 4 and a 3, and then I'll let you work out for yourselves. Hello, I know we've got some people watching. I don't quite know who you are at this point. I can see you're watching, so you're very welcome. Let me see if I can see on here, if we've got any comments on here. Oh, Phil Dale, hello. Hi, Terry. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Ozzy. And I don't know how to read your name, but you're very welcome from, we've got a Russian name there. And, oh, Russell as well, and James Jackson. Lovely. Welcome. So please do share. Please do, if you like what you see on here, please do let other people know about the Making Maths Fun for Kids of all ages. We're live every day. Now, I've got an image. I've got 9. Now, where are we here? I've got to see what I'm doing here. So I can't both watch your comments and see what I'm doing because there's a slight lag. So we've got 9 here set up. And 4. So we've got 9. I hope you see where I'm going with this. 9 plus 4. That takes us to there. And then minus 3 takes us back to here. Okay. So that's what I'm doing with rods 9, 4, and 3. Those are the numbers. So in order to make play games with all numbers from 1 to 9, these rods are useful to make it visual, and that depends what your where you are in your learning journey. So now that you've seen the rods, as I say, we want rods from 1 to 10. The challenge for years 9 and 10, so you'll be 14 to 16-year-olds. Actually, now you need to use 4 rods. You've seen the challenge for the younger years with 3, using 4 rods. So you need to be able to make every length from 1 to n. So just using 4 rods, find a set of rods. It's called continuous patterns. I'm going to actually go back to the lower secondary challenge. In fact, I'm going to reset. I'm actually going to go start at the beginning. So if you're in upper secondary, as in 14, 16, bear with me because I'm going to give you that challenge, but I'm going to start it in a more structured way so that the question makes more sense. I'm going to build it up. Okay, so bear with me because I will get to your challenging question. Okay, so the very first one is what I just did. So 9, add 4, take away 3. It just gives you a really beautiful visual representation of what is happening to the numbers so that it isn't just numbers, it has a significance in your mind. So that we've got, and we'll play with that at the 10 o'clock session for the early years learners. Now, upper primary, you want to do this. So we're going back and forth. So we're adding and subtracting, okay? And we're doing that for the younger children. I'm just working out what I'm saying here because my brain went. That happens, and I'm not apologizing for it. That's just the way it is. And that's okay if that happens to you. So I don't mind modeling it, which is my real life. It happens all the time. And it's okay if it happens to you. You just need to stop, take a moment, and resume. Now, for upper primary, what you want to do is write it down, make a record of everything you do. And what you want to do is find all the totals that you can make with 2 rods, and then all the totals you can make with 3 rods. You want to find them all. Need to be systematic. And then how can you be sure that you found all the totals? So if we're just going to model it here with 2 rods, we've got rods, is it actually, yes, is it, yes, from 1 to 10, all the totals you can make with 2 rods. So let's start with 10 and 1. So you can make, and if you're in lower primary, you can draw pictures of it, of your rods with colors, where the 9 is one color perhaps and the 1 is another, finding a way to get it all on. So 10 and 1 is one possibility. What are all the other totals you can make? Got 10 and 1. I'll just come up. Now we're going to be systematic. So if we're going to be systematic, what's the next number you'll have with 10? 10 and, I don't have a 2. We'll have 10 and 2. I'll hide it there. 10 and 2. And then 10 and 3. And then systematically go through all the rods until you find all the totals you can make with 2 rods. That is lower primary. Now, upper primary, your challenge is a bit more challenging. Well, upper primary is find all the totals and then do the same for 3. Find all the totals using 3 rods. So you've got, you're still limited. You've only got 110, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. And you've got to find all the totals you can find with using 3 rods. That's your challenge. Write it down, get it nice systematically on a nice piece of paper and find them all. Now, and then one thing that's really important is, how do you know you found them all? And can you explain that there are no other combinations, any other possible combinations that you haven't spotted? That is really important. That last little bit where you're absolutely sure, is called proof in mathematics when you get to higher levels. That's being absolutely sure that you found them all and being able to show it by being systematic. That's your upper primary challenge. That's lower secondary. You're going to take it to another level and be, again, very systematic, keep a clear record of your work, and then put everything together on a chart. Make a poster. There's no reason why upper primary can't do this as well. And now, just a little warning there, this could take several days. This is actually not necessarily a quick activity to find all the numbers. So go to where you're comfortable, but challenge yourself. That's really important. Now, and then years 9 and 10, you want to use 4 rods. That's what I was starting with before. And then I thought, well, I hadn't really explained where we were going with it. So I thought we'll come back to years 9 and 10, which are 14 to 16-year-olds. You're now using 4 rods. And instead of making a big chart, you can start off by charting it. It's a really good place to start. Start by charting it, and then you can work out, find different systems so that you can then find a generalization, something that gives you the answer from any number from 1 to, we call it n, which means any number. So with a formula basically with a generalization, you will be able to put in, if we know if it's, if you decided to use 1 million rods, you put in 1 million instead of the number n, and you have the answer of how many patterns there are, how many options there are using 4 rods to make all the numbers from 1 to 1 million. And that's it. So this is what one of the essences of mathematics is, to not have to actually go. It's even just when you started multiplying, instead of adding when you were in early school, this is why you started multiplying. So you didn't have to actually add 9 to itself 10 times. Okay, 9 plus 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 9. Adding 9 to itself 10 times is tedious. So if you learn the patterns and work it out and have a formula, well, 10 times 9 is 90. It's a way using that times, 10 sets of 9 is 90. So that's what you're doing with that. And what you can do is make posters. I'm just getting my thoughts together here. So you can find a way of demonstrating visually on posters, and you can use different numbers. So the suggestion on this resource is to use 1, 3, 4, and 17. Yeah, I'm not actually 100% clear what this is. So what I'm actually going to have to do is, okay, give different types of numbers and then let's say find all the totals from 1 to 25. I'm going to have to clarify that because I'm not clear about that. So I'm going to clarify that, and I'm going to post it in the comments. And then when we do the video for the Maths Toys, the Maths Toys YouTube channel, then that will be very clear, and I will make sure. So yeah, sorry, I've lost it a bit there because I wasn't sure what that meant, and I hadn't reviewed that before. I hadn't noticed that little bit down there about making the poster. So I will, this is going to go live. This is going to be put on the Bubbly Maths YouTube channel. So please do subscribe to that. And there's links in the announcements above on that, and there will be links in the description below. So please do subscribe to our YouTube channels, our Maths Toys, which will literally be taking all of these things and making it super clear individually what to do, and with some really great questions to help you do your own thinking about it, which is where the power of learning is. And then and the Bubbly Maths YouTube channel basically will have these kind of slightly improvised videos which show me realizing that I don't actually know what that suggestion is. So those are all on the Bubbly Maths one, and those will go on soon. So please do subscribe to those. That you'd be doing us a huge favor. At this point, there are some lovely videos on there already, but you're also doing us a huge favor because we need to get to 100 subscribers in order to be able to give ourselves the tag that is the channel name that's Bubbly Maths, and the channel name that's as part of the URL that's Maths Toys. So please do that. The links are above. Please do tell other people about this group if you found this helpful. Hopefully you have. And at 10 o'clock, there will be an activity for young learners where we'll be literally just seeing how numbers add and subtract using these rods. So these homemade rods. So please tell other people, if you know anyone with young learners, that's happening in 34 minutes. And yeah, and tell people about the Making Maths Fun and join. If you're not a member of the group, please join the group Making Maths Fun for kids of all ages. This is aimed, as you can see, we have in the evenings at 8 o'clock, we prepare you for the following day. So whatever's happening tomorrow, I'll tell you about tonight at 8, and then at 9 o'clock in the morning, and of course it can be replayed, it gives you the challenges for yourselves, the young learners, to do each day. And then also the AIMSEC Facebook page, please do like that. That's got a little meme every day. We've shared them down on this group, on the Making Maths Fun for Kids of All Ages group as well. On that note, I'll get ready for the 10 o'clock live, and which is in 33 minutes. Thank you for joining. Now let me just see who else has come on. Oh, Eddie again. Andy's on. Steve Benton. Hi, Alina. Robert Kane. Hello. And Steve Benton. Welcome. And then we've got on here, can't see who it is. I can just see it's live, but I can't see who's actually been on. Thank you for joining. And let's oh, wait a minute. That's on, is that one? That's from last night, and I can't see this one right now on here, so I can't comment if you're on, but if you're there, thank you for joining, and we'll see you again later and tomorrow and the day after and the day after that and the day after that. The idea is that we give you all as much support as we can during this time, using the amazing resources on the Aiming High website, which there's also a link to, obviously, because there's a link to the resources. Take care. I don't actually have to launch it again, except